You know what? I sold them when I moved because I moved houses in 2016 and I had a lot of stuff. So I was trying to thin out just to make the move a little easier. And I sold those. I gave someone a really good deal. Actually, I sold, I think, four of them to one person. And if I could do it all over again, I probably would have kept them.
So in this portion of the interview, we talk about the piece of gear that he got that surprised him the most. It was something that he thought was going to suck. He was very skeptical about it, and then it turned out to be really great. Now, guys, I will have links down in the video description below for the Tone Kings channel. It's definitely something to check out if you haven't checked it out already. And guys, if you enjoy content like this and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this clip from my interview with the Tone King. Okay, so now I got like a gear question for you. So can you give me an example of a piece of, like a specific piece of gear that when you first got it, or when you were first reading about it or something, and you got it, you expected it to suck, and then you got it and it really impressed you? Can you think of something like that? Anything in particular?
You know, the thing that maybe comes to mind, and this I'm probably dating myself a little bit here. When Bugera first came out, they were, I wish they were at the same price today that they were when they came out. A lot of people were hating on them. You know, they did the clone thing, and they were made in China. They were clones of certain amps. There was some people that had quality control, issues, and again, this is just what you read on the internet, right? And I like those amps.
Yeah.
I thought, I promoted them. I was a fan of them. I went out of my way at NAMM to go meet Uli Berenger, who owns the company, right? I was really a proponent of what they were doing. And I wish they were still doing it. I mean, at one point they had 500 or 600 watt heads, tube heads.
Yeah.
And they were really kind of bringing back what was big at one point. They haven't put out a new clone 100 watt head probably in years, but they did the Marshall Plexi clones. They did the JCM clones. They did the PV clones, the 5150. It was like a heyday. $400, you get 100 watt tube head. And yeah, some people were hating on them, but I at one point I owned all of them. I owned all of them. And I can't keep everything I own. I still have my Plexis because, like a 5150, you could buy a 5150 today. Well, I don't know about today, but in general, let's say $500-600 used. And those at the time were selling for $500-600 new. You can't buy a used Plexi for $500 or $600 ever, right?
Yeah.
So I kept those because I thought, those to me were the most valuable. But you can't keep everything you have. But I would say Bugera was the one where I was really carrying the flag, and not everybody was feeling it, but I certainly was. I was really enjoying, like when I plugged into the 333 XL for the first time, I was like, whoa. And then I remember plugging into the 6260. I actually wish I still had the 6260. That thing sounded so brutal. Probably more than the 5150 at least the one I have. Every amp's a little different. It could be the way it's biased or old tubes. All I remember was that thing just sounded brutal. It sounded like my angle, like it was brutal.
Wow. Yeah.
And of course you go on at the time Harmony Central, and people like, oh, it set my house on fire. Like, okay. If it did, I don't know, but you know how internet comments go, right? Like, are they real? Are they not? It's hard to tell, but I really like the Bugera stuff. I still do. I just wish they were I wish they stayed the course.
Right. Yeah. Well,
and you know what? If they do and come out with 100 watt, I don't know, pick your favorite amp, I'd go buy it. I would.
Well, I had the 1990 head, and I loved it, and ended up, I think something weird happened to it. Like it fell off the back of a truck or something like that. It got all messed up.
Yeah.
And then, and you know, and I didn't have it. And I don't know if I sold the parts or what happened, but that was a long time ago. When they first came out, I had it. And I was always like, I was getting other amps. I'm like, and a year would go by. I'm like, man, I should get another one of those. Like, I kept thinking about it. And then about 2 years ago, I did. I found one that had been like refurbished, and I got it again. And I'm like, man, I should have had it all along, because it's such a great sounding amp, and it's got the features that you wish a lot of classic amps had, right?
Yep.
And
the effects loop, it had the reverb. Yeah. I you know what? I sold them when I moved, because I moved houses in 2016 and I had a lot of stuff. So I was trying to thin out just to make the move a little easier. And I sold those. I gave someone a really good deal. Actually, I sold, I think, 4 of them to one person. And if I could do it all over again, I probably would have kept them. I really like the Bugera stuff. I should have kept them.
Wow. Cool.
But I'm sure we all have that story on, we've sold something that we shouldn't have sold, right? It's the story of our lives as gear nuts, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to your channel and your videos, I think most people who are watching are familiar with you, but if there's somebody who's new to your channel, what is sort of the first stuff that they should watch on your channel, or watch on your channel? Like, what do you think is there a certain kind of video, or maybe even a particular video that you feel is kind of like a good representation of just your overall work?
I would say, if somebody hasn't watched any of my videos, join a live show. I try to do a live show every Friday night. For the most part, I'm probably 90% successful with that. Sometimes I need to take a Friday night off, like this past Friday. I've been doing live shows before YouTube had live streaming capability. I was using, I think it was Live Stream, where I was able to do, so on YouTube, I'd say, hey, go to live stream, and I'll have a live show there. And then I would download the video and then upload it to YouTube. So I've been doing live shows from the beginning. Okay. And what I love about is it the best demo I could give? Nope. Is it edited? Nope. Is it polished? Nope. But to me, that's the value of the live show. Okay. I could spend hours editing a video, tweaking the audio, color correcting the lighting. I can make it perfect. But that's my own commercial, right? I've always, from day one, I've always tried to be transparent and honest and have a relationship with the viewer. So I would say, if you've never watched any of my stuff, Friday night, midnight, 2 minutes to midnight, I have a live show. Just visit the channel and we hang out. There's a lot of regulars there that come all the time. And it's always nice to see that grow. And sometimes I demo gear. Sometimes we just hang out and talk about, what's in the guitar news, it really is a variety show. Sometimes I have guests on. In fact, I'd love to have you on one Friday night.
Oh yeah. I'd love to. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And it's just, if you want to get to know me and my content and, my style in terms of how I approach gear, join a live show. And you could text me in the chat. I read the chat. I try to answer all the questions. And I try to, it's funny. I always say I've watched some people that do live shows, and they will go question by question and pause the chat. And sometimes you'll ask a question, but they don't get to it until an hour later. It's like, you want to bang your head against the wall. So what I always say is, if you have a question, just ask it again, because I don't pause the chat. And then sometimes people keep asking the question and then I'll answer it. But I just try to answer everything in real time. And I try to keep it as fun and as real as possible. So join a live show. Check it out.
I have to say, I think you're a little braver with that stuff than I am, because I've done a handful of live things, but that not having the ability to fix my mistakes is really hard for me. It's tough. But you're right in that, especially if you're doing demos. I mean, it is kind of, it's more a little more genuine in a way.
I like when someone says, hey, turn the gain down. Let's hear it with the gain all the way down. It's like, oh, that's a cool idea. You turn it down. And I like getting that input while I'm demoing it. And I always, a lot of times I do demos just because, like, for instance, I had all my ESPs, my Lynch guitar. I had 3 Lynch guitars down here a few weekends ago. It wasn't sponsored by anyone. They were my guitars. And then sometimes a company will sponsor me and send over some gear, like, hey, here's a few pedals, right? Eventide just sent over their 2 new pedals. And it was nice getting the input and the feedback from everyone. And it's funny, there was like a button you press, which does like the top layer or the bottom layer, and I had the color wrong. And everyone's like, no, you're wrong. It's the other way around. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm wrong. It's the other way around. Yeah. But that's, I don't know. I chalk that up to being a human being, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I always tell the company, like in the case of Eventide, I always tell them, hey, listen, if you like the video, you could, you know, pull it down and edit it and use it for social media, you know, whatever you want to use it for, you know. So you really get the best of both. You get somebody that wants to really understand the pedal, they could watch the whole thing. Somebody that wants a clip, well, a lot of times the company will make the little clips and put it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So I'm pretty happy with how that comes out. It's not perfect, but I'm not perfect. You know.
Well, no, I mean, that sounds, yeah, I mean, it's more of a community vibe, the way you're describing it, which is
Absolutely.
really cool. And I think that's always, the more of that you can get, the better, I think, in videos.
And it helps me mentally because you make videos, right? Sometimes it gets, you know, when you're sitting in front of a computer for 3-4 hours at a time without talking to a person, when there's nobody in the cubicle to the left or the right of you, it's nice being able to talk to a community. So I really enjoy the live shows. And, you know, we make videos. We need to have fun doing what we do. We know the payday isn't big. So I always say I need to be having fun, right?
So along the lines of community stuff, so there was no NAMM in 2021. And I mean, I probably will have one next year, I think. But if I'm being totally honest, I was kind of happy to take a year off from all that stuff, you know, and I think it'll make it better when we, you know, it'll be even more exciting, right, when we come back to it and that kind of thing. And I hope there can be another Tomon event too, because that was a really, really cool thing.
But that was fun. That was fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. But do you, I mean, as far as you know, when it comes to, you know, going to these events, you know, I don't know if you ever go to Summer NAMM or if, I mean, I've seen you at the Anaheim one and everything, of course, but I mean, did you like taking the time off, or is that just like a holiday to you or something?
The NAMM is definitely about the people, seeing your YouTube pals, right? Seeing those that work for companies that you see once a year. That, to me, NAMM was always about the people. Earlier on, I used to hustle real hard to get as much content as I can. Truthfully, now you have folks like, you know, the magazines and the retailers that cover it,
right?
You know, at a speed quicker than I could go, at a quicker pace, and they hire staff. I can't do that. I don't make enough money on YouTube to hire staff and do all that. And if someone else is doing it, I don't need to, right? So the last few years, I've really just been trying to enjoy NAMM, enjoy the people, get some good lunches, good dinners, good hangouts, see some familiar faces, play some gear, you know, really trying to make it more about everything I do. I try to have as much fun as I can. And I say that because, you know, 8 years ago when I went to NAMM, I didn't go there to have fun. I went there to work.
Right.
And I tried to, you know, one NAMM, I think I topped out at almost 80 videos by myself. I'd cut the video. Wow. I'd edit the video. I'd release the video. It's a lot of work. 80 videos.
That's wow.
And now if I do 10, it's a lot.
Right.
Because again, I'm not trying to compete. Listen, if a magazine could do it better or a retailer could do it better, God bless them. I'm not trying to compete for the views. I did it because there was no one doing it and I was there and I enjoyed doing it. What I don't enjoy doing is, you know, doing a video when there's 30 other, you know, here's the booth walkthrough video. It's like, I don't need to. So I try to focus on the things I can do that no one else is doing, right? Like we mentioned earlier, my live show is about me and my journey, and nobody else could do that but me. So I enjoy that. So everything I approach, I try to make it about my journey, and I try to share that with people. But I like NAMM, I like TGU, I like GitCon, I like all those events. They're a lot of fun. The food's good. You come
Oh,
home
yeah.
a little heavier, but the food is good. It's very generous of those companies, not NAMM, because they don't fly. Well, they certainly didn't fly me anywhere. But TGU flew us out, and GitCon flew us out. And you know what? It's nice to it's nice when you get an invitation to a party, and it's nice when someone puts you up. And you know what? It's that's like one of those. It's the offer that you can't refuse, right? Hey, you want to come to a party? We'll fly you out there. We'll feed you, and we'll put you up in a hotel. It's like, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I can make time for that.
I can make time for that.
Yeah.
And you're in good company, right? You're with like-minded people. It's how we met in person. And those are fun times. That's what makes this all worth it.
Yeah.
Well,
man, this has been awesome. And I really, it's been great talking with you again. And I really appreciate you, taking the time to do this. And of course, I'll have links and everything in my video descriptions for anybody who hasn't checked out your stuff, or maybe, people who have, but, should come back to it and see what you're up to today. Because again, you're kind of like the original guy to me. And again, man, it's been great talking with you, and thanks a ton for doing this.
Thank you so much. I again, just to wrap, bring it back where we started. Thank you for asking me to be on your channel. I genuinely enjoyed our conversation. I dig your channel, so I, keep doing what you're doing as well. And thank you again for asking me to do this. I was very humbled when you asked me. So thank you so much.
No problem.
And for those watching, I'm going to leave you all off with one of those bad boys right there. I will see you all later.
Okay, guys, so that was a clip from my interview with the Tone King. He's the guy, to me, who's kind of just like the original guitar YouTuber. He's been making videos for like 15 years. He's got over 2,500 videos. Now, I'm going to link a bunch of stuff down in the video description below, so I definitely want to encourage you to check out his channel if you haven't already. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with him, but even if you've seen some of his stuff in the past, I think it's worth taking another look at the stuff he's doing today. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and let me know in the comment section below what you think of these interview type videos. I had a really good time doing this, and I'm probably going to be doing more of these in the future. So anyway, I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comment section below. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.